questions. Please raise your hand and we will get to you. We'll start here with Zach and then go to Bob.
Zach Sterniel with NASCAR.com. Kyle, I'm just curious where things stand for you right now as for your 2023 plans. I'm sure you want to get it sewed up before the playoffs if that's possible, but where do things stand right now?
No new update. Is that fair?
Yep.
I mean, there isn't. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to follow up and ask, have you gotten any more clarity on whether the 18 is still an option? And if so, how likely is it that you will or won't be back at JGR?
I feel like that would be an update, Bob.
Okay.
That has not been told to me. Not yet.
We'll go to Jeff.
Obviously, Kimi Raikkonen's back, and you had some dealings with him the last time he was here. Since in the decade since or whatever, have you communicated with him at all? Do you plan on seeking him out this weekend to catch up, I guess?
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I guess we never really did a phone number swap, so I had never talked to him when he was here. Honestly, it was always through the agency and stuff like that, whoever handled all that. So I have not spoken to him, but been paying attention and what all he's kind of done and all that with the F1 stuff over the last few years. So it'd be nice to kind of just see him, say, hey, what's up? Welcome back. And, this is his first taste, obviously, in the Cup Series stuff, and real proud of the efforts of Justin and all those guys over there on that Project 91 thing. I think it's really a unique deal to allow others from other disciplines to come on in here and give it a shot and see what it's all about, and hope that it all works out for every party, that it's a successful piece.
Larson was saying that he's kind of curious to see his data, because maybe he drives a road course differently than NASCAR drivers do. Will you look at that at all? I mean, is there anything that you guys could potentially learn from a guy like that coming in and getting into these cars?
I don't think so. I mean, I guarantee you, if you take the whole 40-car field, whatever number car field it is, and dissect all the data, I guarantee you'll find 10% discrepancy between everybody. There's not much. So I don't think he's going to be a vast amount different. There's only so much thing that you can do with these cars. He's not going to be able to brake at a 200 braking point versus the rest of us being at 400. That's car capable, right? Not driver capable. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be much difference there. But I'll take a look. If Larson's going to look, I might as well look.
Thank you. Cole Cusimano with the Arizona Republic. You guys at JGR have been pretty vocal about the road course program not being the best this year for the organization. Have any extra measures been taken this weekend by yourself or the teams in the shop to be better prepared?
Yeah, no, for sure. I know that there's a lot of work going on and a lot of things kind of behind the scenes to try to help with what we got going on. It's a lot of aero talk, it's a lot of mechanical talk, and it's a lot of brake talk. So there's a lot of things, but essentially, the better you are at slowing down, turning, and accelerating, the faster you're going to be. And we don't have any of those. So if we can at least help one of those areas, then I would think that we'll have a better program this weekend. I wouldn't say that we jump to the front with coming to Watkins Glen, but I bet you we're better.
Nathan Son with a podium finish. On that similar note, when Martin did the tire test here, he said that his car definitely struggled and he was off on speed. Do you think that you guys have maybe made any more progress since that tire test to be more competitive tomorrow?
Yeah, I would like to think so. Just exact same answer I just gave before. I know that we had those struggles, and when Martin was here, the sim stuff looked better. I don't know that the sim stuff is 100% real, to what you can really do on the racetrack, given seeing Martin's data and what he did here when we tested here, which was before a couple of the other last road courses. So we have definitely improved. So I feel like Martin's test is not 100% indicative of what we'll see with our cars here this weekend. So there will be some benefit.
And you've talked a lot about the impact that KBM obviously has in your contract negotiations. How much do you talk with your drivers over there about kind of what your status is? Is obviously a move for you would have impacts for them and their paths.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are kind of shopping themselves anyways to higher series and things like that to get other opportunities anyways. So I kind of feel like the truck piece is always the last to be put together. You know, you can go into December and figure out your truck lineup versus, you know, being a free agent top star in the Cup Series. You would think that you could have things figured out by, you know, August, July, somewhere in there. So obviously we're getting late in the time frame for me, but still getting to the nitty-gritty of what needs to happen.
Marty Segala, Rock Sports Network, Race Pro Weekly. Kyle, 10 years ago, there was that incredible finish here at Watkins Glen. I know you were on the worst end of all of that, but have you ever looked back on that finish and realized, hey, that was a cool memory to be a part of?
No. No,
Had
it
a feeling
wasn't.
I get that.
No, it wasn't. I got kicked to the curb pretty early, and then it was a show after that, so I wasn't even really a part of the show. It just looked like I didn't know what the hell I was doing because I was running off course and running off line and slipping all over the place, and nobody knew till after the fact, well after the fact, that there was oil on the track, and we were all trying to dodge it, but I don't know if I was seeing it first and knowing that I needed to miss it, and those other guys just didn't care and still ran the normal lines and was just slipping around. But I think they finally figured it out going up through the backstretch that, you know, other areas than the asphalt were going to be just fine grip wise because there was oil down. So yeah, I wish I was certainly on the winning end of that. That would have, then I would say yes. I've watched it over and over again and it's amazing. But no. Trust me, I've seen the highlight reels.
And one more, I'm kind of curious. Obviously, with the announcement of the Chicago Street Course, it's got some similarities to Watkins Glen with the 90-degree corners and those long straights. Do you think that this race could possibly be a sneak preview for what we could see next season, or
not
no?
even close? No way. No way. I say that because those corners are going to be 20, 30-mile-an-hour corners. These corners here, at least down into turn 1, I think is a 45, 50-mile-an-hour corner. Even turn 6 is probably 60 miles an hour corner. Like, no, not even close. It's going to be slow. Yeah.
We'll go to Chris and then to Dustin.
Chris@catchers.com. Kyle, are you participating in the organizational test at Martinsville this upcoming week? And if not, if you are, can you give me your thoughts? And if not, what do you hope that they can accomplish this week with that test ahead of that penultimate race?
I did the test a little while back. I think it was a tire test. Considered a tire test, and we didn't really get anywhere with tires that made a difference. And then we tried the Bristol Dirt pan underneath, and I felt like that was a plus. So I have no idea what the objective is for next week. I'm not participating, so no idea what's happening.
Go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kyle, I'm curious. Every year there's always challenges and distractions for any athlete, and whether it can be positive things of births or family things or professional things like what you're going through. And I'm curious, what do you lean on or what you've gone through this year? Is it just like some other years, or is this more, you know, something else aggravating, or is it also helpful that you're doing racing with Brexton to keep your mind off it? Can you give me a sense of what this summer, spring and summer has been like? 'Cause it seems like you've really gone, you know, through the ringer, and it was something that, you know, nobody would have expected in January for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to summarize, but probably tough for some to understand, because let's be frank about it, right? Like, I'm an athlete. I make a lot of money. People aren't going to feel or shouldn't feel sorry for me, right? I've made a good living, and so that's not the premise of this answer, but it's been hard as hell. You know, it's been a lot of sleepless nights figuring out what your future is and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, you've made plenty of money. You're fine. You don't have anything to worry about. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But you still want to do what you love to do, right? Like, it's no different than Jeff, you went through it, right? Having questions about what you're doing on you know, your job and your lifestyle and what you can do to move forward. So I'm in the same boat. I'm a racer. Only ever known how to race, nothing else. Trying to do other business projects and things like that, but none of them have really like blown up and taken off. So it has been hard, and figuring out all of that is certainly tough. And the last time I went through this was 15 years ago, you know, and was a learning experience. It was hard then too, but it was nothing like now. Like then it was just me, myself, and I. Like I didn't have Samantha, I didn't have a son, I didn't have a daughter, I didn't have. All I had was an agent that was helping me, and now I'm kind of all on my own doing it, along with Samantha and the family. But you know, going through many of the same things, but it's way, way harder because now you have Kyle Busch Motorsports that you've got to think about. You've got a building that you've got to pay on. You know, you've got a building note and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of pieces, and that's why it's not so simple. If you look at each aspect of everything of my life, which some of you may not know or may not fully know, is there's just a lot. So trying to take care of all those pieces and make sure everything goes as it was or as it has been the last few years would certainly be nice.
And I'm not going to pretend to understand that, but I can, I guess, appreciate the different challenges, the different balls that you're juggling in one sense. But I'm also curious, when you have those sleepless nights, are those as much about, am I going to be able to be in a position where I can win as much, as it, from the athletic point of view, and for somebody as successful as you are, is that a concern, or is that so far down the list because you've got all these other balls to juggle that you're not thinking as much about that?
Oh no, that's certainly top of the list. You want to be able to go somewhere that you feel like you have a legit shot to race, to win. You know, trust me, I don't feel like it's fair to me or my family or anything else if we're going to have to spend less time together moving forward, because we are going to have to change our lifestyle, no questions. Like there's a big change coming. And so, you know, is it worth it to go run around and not have an opportunity to win right away versus building something versus jumping in something that can win? You know, all of those questions are certainly being weighed out. And so, again, that's also why it's not so simple and so easy. So thankfully there are opportunities out there. There is, you know, cup jobs available. But it will not look the same as what it has for the last 15 years.
Are there any final questions for Kyle? We'll take one last question here from Michael.
Michael Finley, FormTrips.com. Kyle, just to go off Dustin's point there, has there been any thoughts to let your legacy going forward as well? I say this because when Brad went to Penske, that wasn't championship level equipment, and then when he left Penske, it's championship level equipment. So, has that played in your mind any?
Yeah, I think that kind of is the same question, just a little different maybe, but the answer is the same. Where can you go somewhere else and get into stuff that can win right away? And if you can go somewhere else and get in stuff that wins right away, I feel like if you're winning, you're championship contender. You're capable because, again, win and you're in, right? So if you can win races and get yourself into the playoffs, then the playoffs are a completely different game. So for as bad as our year has seemed, and for the last 8 weeks, for as bad as it's looked for the 18 car, we still have a legitimate shot to go out here and race for a championship. We need to just find the luck truck and go buy some, and then we'll be fine. You know, everybody's going to be pretty close on points, and a couple guys obviously have a head start, which there's always a couple guys that have a head start, and those guys have a better shot at making it to the Final Four. But there's going to be a team or two that point their way into that as well. So I've done that every single time. I think I only won my way into the Final Four one year. Otherwise, I've always pointed my way in. So it's nothing that scares me.
We'll take one last question in the back from
Oh
Dave.
my gosh!
I'm sorry, I missed his hand. I apologize.
And it's me, Dave Moody, Sirius XM and MRN.
Even worse.
Sorry.
Well, come
I'm
on
sorry.
now. In an effort to maybe trim the amount of wild speculation floating around in reference to the Rowdy Energy brand, you've been very successful with that. Are you successful to the point where Rowdy Energy could sponsor Rowdy Busch? Could you self-sponsor? Is there any scenario in which that comes into play?
No. No. It makes decent money, but the problem is the expenses that you have in which to build this business, to build this company, and all that sort of stuff. We're not black yet. We're still in the red. So no, you can't default on a loan in order to pay yourself sponsorship. That's not going to happen. So you know, the idea behind this, the premise behind this was I had another 10-year runway to go and keep going. And with M&Ms and Mars and everything else, we never thought this position would be here. And so I was going to have that chance to build that and get it going and get it off its feet. And we would find out in 7 or 8 years whether or not it would be something that would be sustainable for this opportunity that's here now early, to then have that support it, right? Or support Brexton or whatever going forward. But it's way too early for that. So unfortunately, that doesn't exist.
And that was the last one, Kyle.
All
Thank
right.
you for your time. Good
Yeah,
luck this
thanks.
weekend.